Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is the 2019 New York Pro Classic Physique champion. Let's welcome Keone Pearson to the show.
What's up, man?
Keone, man, everyone's been talking about you as the next big thing, and you've placed very well at shows, but let's face it, it always feels great when you get that victory.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. Like I say, man, it's still haven't hit me yet that I won the New York Pro. I don't know. It's still surreal, man. It's still a crazy moment right now for me.
You started sending me pictures a couple years back. I think it was about a year and a half ago, and just out of nowhere, Dave, what do you think of these pictures? And I was quite frankly blown away. I was like, I mean, my comments. I was just like, man, just don't stop. Keep doing what you're doing. You look great. I mean, you got the classic look. You got everything, every tool in the tool shed to do well in classic. And what shocked me even more was just now when we were doing a little pre-interview, I didn't know you've only been bodybuilding for 2.5 years.
Yeah, man. I started in 2007. Well, I turned pro in 2017.
Yeah.
But before that, I did 2 NPC shows, and then that's when I turned pro in 17, and then I did Temper Pro, then Arnold in New York.
I mean, that's incredible. You even told me even a funny story. I was asking him when he got really into it and how he started bodybuilding. He's like, people were telling me I'd be a good bodybuilder before I even started working out in the gym. I said, well, that's how you know you're gonna be a great bodybuilder, when you look like you're a great bodybuilder and you don't even work out. That was kind of like Ronnie Coleman's story. When you realize you have that kind of genetics, a lot of people sometimes coast on their potential. What motivates you to be great?
Honestly, just the people around me. Like when I was telling you, people said I should be a bodybuilder at the time, and I didn't know what the heck that was and what it took to do that. And then once I actually started working out and seeing changes in my body, I was like, okay. And then I guess my body just started attracting more people around me that competed too. And then from there, I just fed off that energy, and I just kept going, and then just took it to the next level.
Now, you're one of the shorter guys in the classic physique stage. It seems like classic guys are very tall lately, and usually that's because they can't really fill their frames out enough for bodybuilding, so they do classic. You're a shorter guy, but you have classic lines, which is very rare in guys your height.
Yeah, man, I kind of noticed that. But it's really very a few short guys with great lines, but definitely I think for all short classic physique competitors that stand out, like Breon, Terrence Ruffin, they're short. I'm Courage, he's around with 5'7", 5'8".
That's different. Yeah. That's a 3-inch difference, though. There's a huge difference between 5'5" and 5'8".
Yeah.
And because when you stand on stage, you're the shortest guy up there, but you stick out because of your proportion. Now, when I saw you at the Arnold Classic earlier this season, I was expecting you to go in there and really, dominate. I thought you looked real good, but I mean, by your own, I'm sure, admission that you probably were not your best. You still managed to get 4th just because of how good your lines are and how great your posing is. Was that discouraging for you to not, maybe show up at your best?
Yeah, it kind of did bother me, but then I'm kind of glad that I brought the package that I did, because I felt like I actually showed my true potential for this show, if that makes sense. The way I came in.
Did that motivate you to train harder and to diet harder?
A lot. Just everything was just different about this prep, man. It was totally opposite from the Arnold prep.
Well, what did you tell us what the differences were?
Well, for people that didn't know, I didn't do any cardio for the Arnold. So I started at 206 and weighed in at 180 with 0 cardio.
Shoosh.
So basically, just low carbs, honestly, and 3 gallons of water a day. That's what my base with the Arnold. And New York Pro, threw in cardio.
Things happen, yeah.
Made a tremendous difference.
Right. Now, when you assess, I mean, when I used to look, I tell people all the time, when I used to look at my pictures after a show, I used to want to throw up because I only saw the flaws in myself. I never saw the good stuff. When you looked at your New York Pro pictures, what did you think? Were you happy with the overall look, or do you think you can be better?
I couldn't believe that was me, honestly. I couldn't believe it. I never been in that shape before, so It was very shocking. It was very pleasing. No matter how the show went, it was a winning for me because I definitely beat my last package by a long shot.
Sure.
I believe so. I was happy with it. I was happy. I was satisfied with it.
Do you have any help for this show in terms of getting ready and with your, as far as coaching and conditioning goes?
Yes. As far as posing, I was still doing posing by myself. Coaching, PJ Bronx from Blackstone, my sponsor, he was guiding me through, helping me out as far as with nutrition and everything. And so,
personally, I'm going to give you constructive criticism. I think you were way better than the Arnold, and you were really tight. I think you could be even better for the Olympia. I think you can take it even another notch of conditioning up because I think that your hamstrings and glutes have yet to be perfect.
Thank you, man. Yeah, so we're 17 weeks out from the Olympia now, so that's more than enough time just to grow into the show even more and just come in more conditioned, just diet longer. Because after the Arnold, I took like a little minor break, very small, and I did like pretty much a 7.5 week prep for the New York.
That's incredible.
Yeah, for the New York. So now we got 17 weeks. We got so much space to play with.
Sure.
With these extra weeks, and then probably 12 weeks, just lock it in and just hit it hard. So I'm excited.
Let me ask you a question. When you were in like high school, I bet you probably had arms that look very similar to what they are right now. I have to imagine that, right? Are those just genetic? Please tell me they're genetic.
It's genetics, man. I guess now I look back at my pictures, I can see the muscle belly there now that I look back at it. I guess I always had it.
You probably had 18-inch arms in high school, I bet.
Oh, maybe 11.
No, you got great shape to your arms, and I think that once again is a genetic thing. I always tell people, whenever you want advice on how to build like arms, never ask a guy with good genetic arms because they can lift a soda can up and their arms grow. What body part do you feel was always the most difficult for you to develop?
I would definitely say my upper chest, and that's what the critique that I get a lot from judges is my chest. When I started working with flex, I found out I've been training chest wrong all this time, as far as positioning the bar instead of here. I always did the bar here, never up here.
Right.
And so now that I'm training it correctly, I just think it's just going to take over time, as far as for growth, but it will come.
Now, you've been training three and a half years now, so, seriously. So, I mean, you're only 24 years old, so you're just coming into your own. You're one of the younger guys in the Classic Physique division. Obviously, certainly the future of Classic. When you look at the lineup going into the Olympia now, how do you feel you can do, first of all, and who do you think were your biggest threats, in terms of people who compare well with you?
Well, we all know who we're trying to beat, Breon. That's the champ, so definitely that's the man to beat. But I don't know. I'm just ready to see how I place with these guys. I feel like I competed with a few guys that's best in the world so far, but definitely just being with the top of the top in the world, I'm definitely stoked to see where I place with these guys and hang with them.
When you look at the way of Classic Physique is going, and there's almost like two, I guess, camps in Classic. The ones that are like, a little bit more streamlined, like the Breon Ansley guys, the Bumsteads, and then you have the guys that are a little thicker, like your George Peterson, who won the Arnold Classic. Do you think there's a place for both, and where do you think that the Classic division should go? In which direction?
As far as in like structure and the way how we should look?
Yeah, do you think is it a muscle contest? I mean, should muscle play a big factor like George Peterson, winning that Arnold Classic, or do you think that that's too much?
I think it should be muscle, and the main thing, your shape. Just your structure and your shape and your muscle bellies. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you can have muscle, but you may not have the proper muscle belly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the roundness. A lot of people have muscle, but they don't have the roundness. And back in the day, you see flex, Chris Cormier, Sean Ray. They was round, aesthetic, muscular, but it wasn't like freaky, like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I see as in classic. You see what I'm saying? And of course, small waist. Have to have a small waist.
Right.
Have to.
Seeing that you're only 24 years old and you have such amazing structure, in your mind, I mean, because let's face it, you have a weight limit. You can only weigh 180 pounds on stage for your height. Do you ever see yourself saying, hey, you know, maybe I might want to venture into the 212 division or compete in an open show at some point in the future? I mean, I'm young, I'm still growing, I'm still improving. Or do you find that classic is your home?
Oh, man. Well, the end goal for me, should I really tell you? Well, the end goal is to actually do 212.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Seeing my body wants to grow. I learned that from the Arnold and the New York prep. I probably put on about a solid 5 pounds of muscle through that prep. And so I found out my body wants to grow. So I would say 212 for sure. Classic, not too long.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think you could be a good 212 person, because if you were 35, it would be a different story. You're 24 years old, man. You're hitting your peak growth years now. It would be a shame to hold back that development, you know?
Yeah, man. I'm definitely finding it harder just to make 180. Like I was 184 the day before the show.
Wow.
So, and I was dieting hard, cardio, low carbs, pounding water. I was like, dang, I can't get down to weight. Like, am I doing something wrong?
Right.
That's when I find out, like, my body wants to grow. So.
Right. Well, congratulations, Keone. You know, you came into your own. I knew this day would eventually arrive, and, you know, pretty proud of seeing the progress that you've made from, you know, before you turned pro to now. You're going to the Olympia, and I'm sure you couldn't be happier. Best of luck in the prep leading up to that show, and keep us updated. Man, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for having me. Thank you for following my journey, and yeah, man, let's keep rocking. All right, man. And guys, that's going to take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.